I'm Amanda.
And I'm Mike. And
this is Saturday Morning Cereal. Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome to Season 4 of Saturday Morning Cereal. I'm Amanda here with Mike, and I hope you guys all had a great summer. Mike, I feel like we were sick the whole summer.
Yeah, I had some type of, cold, and then I caught COVID, so I was out for the count this whole summer. Summer came and went.
Likewise, you got that, sinus thing that went around, and then you gave it to me, but then I got COVID first after, my brother's wedding, and then we went to C2E2, and then you had it a week later, so...
Yes, I gave you something, you gave me something, we're all merry and happy.
Right. Well, anyway, this summer we did watch quite a few things, regardless of being ill. I vaguely remember watching Prey because that was, right at the peak of when I had COVID. I had, the fever, the whole 9 yards. Mike, you had a mild case, but we sat down and we watched Prey, and I never have seen, really, I've seen Alien, but, I haven't seen, the Alien Predator movies, so I had no idea that this movie was, a Predator type of thing. So I wasn't that nuts about it. Mike, you liked it, right?
It was a different story than what I had come accustomed to in, a Predator movie. Obviously, in those famous Predator movies, the first one with Arnold Schwarzenegger, in the jungle, and this was more of an earlier time in the Predator timeline in, just, a plain land with, marshes all over the place and all these first people, they're all speaking their languages, and then the French show up, and the French are speaking French, and you can't understand them. It's a complete role reversal of everything I had come to expect in, a modern-day action movie, and I was legitimately impressed.
Mm-hmm. And then we watched Everything Everywhere at Once. And, Mike, I know you were excited about... You really wanted to see this movie. And I was like, yeah, I'll watch it too. Whatever. I really enjoyed it. It was crazy. It was wild. I loved the dad or husband in that movie. He was adorable with his little fanny pack. It was great. It blew me away.
It was the most original movie I've seen in a couple of years. It was just so fresh and exciting. It was like The Matrix, but it felt like it was directed by Edgar Wright. The movie just seeped energy everywhere.
Yeah, it definitely I don't know. I went into this just thinking, but you didn't have to have all the fancy characters in the Marvel films or Matrix, and you just had everyday people experiencing this, and I did enjoy that there was a bit of humor in it too.
It is a really funny movie.
Yeah.
I mean, we were laughing just as much as we were on the edge of our seats, and as much as we were going for the tissues during the emotional scenes. Mm-hmm.
And Jamie Lee Curtis is in it too, and she's so funny. She's so, she doesn't laugh. She doesn't, I don't know, she's one of those characters that plays off she doesn't mean to be funny, but she is funny.
Yeah, she's got very much a dry sense of humor.
Mm-hmm. So then we went to Cinema Day, which, if you guys didn't know that, and I posted this on Twitter, movies at movie theaters were $3 each, and then each theater at their own discretion had deals on snacks like popcorn and whatever. So my brother actually picked the movie Beast to go see, and it was okay. It was a lot better than I thought. It was kind of Jaws and a version of Jaws, just but with a lion, right? Idris Elba was in it, and it was entertaining. Mike, you had a lot to say about that, though, right?
Yeah, it was unintentionally funny in parts for me, but it wasn't an appropriate movie to watch just after so recently have seen Prey, because it's this similar story of, man versus beast, and Prey did a lot better job.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was definitely a one-time viewing for us. And then, Mike, you've been watching Superman and Lois?
Yeah, I finally caught up on the second season of Superman Lois. It's on HBO Max now for anyone curious, and This season introduced Bizarro Superman, and it was a lot of fun to watch. And I absolutely adore this cast and these characters, and it's pretty much the perfect modern day Superman story. So, if you're not a big fan of like the Arrowverse shows and the CW in general, the Superman and Lois show reads more like a HBO Max show, and the budget feels bigger. There's not as much soapy drama. It's a great show.
Awesome. And then we are currently watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. We started that this summer, and it's just so funny. We love the show. We're fans of Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and we needed like a funny show to watch in the evenings when we just kind of need to unwind. So we are very much enjoying Brooklyn Nine-Nine. We're on season 2, 3?
2 or 3. Yeah, I think 3.
3, yeah. So loving that so far. And then over the summer, actually, the week after I was over COVID, my mom and I went to New York City, and I saw 2 Broadway shows. I went to Wicked for the 87th millionth and a half time. But in my defense, though, I haven't seen it at the Gershwin in like way over 10. It has to be like 10 or 12 years. So for me, I felt like I was 15 again because I was so obsessed with that show. If you remember my previous Broadway episode, we were talking that I saw Wicked a lot when I was here in Chicago. So I felt like I was 15 again. It was great. And the cast was phenomenal. I loved the Elphaba and Glinda. It's been a while since I've seen just 2 actresses. Just their chemistry was off the charts. And they nailed the characters' personalities. So, it was amazing. If you are in the area in New York, and just please go see Wicked. I don't know the actresses' names. If I figure them out, I'll probably mention them later in the episode here. But we also saw Dear Evan Hansen. We won the lottery for that, and oh my gosh, we saw Gaten from Stranger Things, and that little kid, he can sing. I mean, he's just so great, and he kind of plays.
He's not a kid anymore. He's almost 20 years old.
He's always gonna be a child in my eyes, but yeah, he can sing, and he kind of plays like an asshole version of Dustin in Dear Evan Hansen. Everyone thinks like, oh, he's the main character. He's not. But whoever was the main actor as Evan Hansen, though, was amazing. We cried. It was just such a great show. So that was that. And then Mike and I went to C2E2. And if you remember from past episodes, we talked about like Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra. And we met the voice actress of Korra, Janet Varney. But first, I got a shout out. Congrats to my brother and my new sister-in-law on their wedding last month. It was really fun. It was beautiful. But then the day after, Mike and I took the train to Chicago and went to C2E2. And now, guys, this was before like COVID symptoms really hit us. And overall, I mean, we were kind of dead from the wedding the night before. But we met Janet Varney. We got a photo op with her and an autograph. And before the con, Mike made her this awesome denim jacket. It had like Korra on the back and the Avatar symbols down the sleeve. Like, it was just awesome. And Mike, you were so nervous to give it to her, but oh my God, it was like the best. She loved it. She was floored when we gave it to her, and she was just the nicest, sweetest human being ever. Oh my goodness.
So I've been doing this hobby where I recently came into possession of a heat press, and what a heat press is that it transfers ink from paper onto cloth through sublimation. So I special order these prints off of this Etsy store called Lime Design Studios, and he prints out my design on paper and puts adhesive glue on the back of it, and then I can take that design and I can press it onto t-shirts or blankets or whatever. But I've been doing jackets recently, and I made one for Janet, and I was just so nervous about giving it to her because, like, I've never given a celebrity anything, I don't know if I would ever do it again for, like, a bigger celebrity, but Janet Varney is very much the nicest human being ever, and she was so sweet, and she was wearing the jacket the rest of the day, and she made an Instagram post about it, and it just It just made my day that she was so happy.
Yeah, make sure you guys check out her Instagram page to see it. It's awesome. So this past weekend, D23 was happening in Anaheim, California, and there was a lot of exciting news. Now, we're not going to go in detail over everything because, we're trying to keep this under an hour here. But the first thing that got announced that I'm excited for is Disenchanted, which comes out in November. It's the sequel to Enchanted, which came out when I was in high school, which is crazy. So I'm kind of like, I think this movie might be like 10 years too late in the making because everyone's older. And Enchanted's one of those movies where I love it. It's one of my favorites. And I love the music. I love all the actors in it. But you forget about it. It's a very forgettable movie. And it's such a shame. But I hope this movie turns it around. And then we have The Little Mermaid, which comes out on May 26, 2023. The trailer looks great. We're so excited. And what's her name? Do you know her name that's starring as Ariel?
It sounds like Holly Berry, but it's not. I think it's like Halle Berry.
Haley Bell. Yeah, something like that.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we're bad with names. But, yeah.
You can speak for yourself about your excitement because these Disney live-action movies have not been my cup of tea.
No, I mean, this one looks good. But
that's what they say every time.
Yeah, but then, okay, now we're going to get into Mufasa. No. Absolutely not. I have no idea when that comes out, actually. I think it's like 2024 or something. But it's going to be a prequel to The Lion King, but it's also live action. And that live action Lion King was the first Disney film I wanted to walk out because it was so boring. It was so bad. Okay, and then we got Snow White with Gal Gadot in 2024. Hocus Pocus 2 comes out September 30th. Pixar, they have a couple things coming out. One is called Elemental that comes out June 16th, 2023. And then they also have a new series coming out called Win or Lose that's also coming out in 2023. Inside Out 2 is coming in 2024. I love that movie, so I'm very excited about that. There's a animation film coming out called Elio. I'm not really too sure what that's about. But regardless, like, I know Pixar hasn't really been impressing us too much, but I still see all the movies that come out. I don't know. It just must be because I'm dedicated. I don't know. So another one that's coming out, it's like a short, it's called Wish, and it's what wishing on a star really came to be with Disney. How their mantra is like, when you wish upon a star, all your dreams come true. This short is kind of explaining that. And that comes out November 23rd, 2022, so this year. And then Lucasfilm dropped Andor, which that comes out September 21st already, so next week.
And we get 3 episodes.
It's kind of crazy. And we are going to be reviewing that on here, so stay tuned for that. And then The Mandalorian Season 3 comes out in 2023, which isn't a shock to everybody. But, like, Mike and I were just saying, we feel like we've seen The Mandalorian, like, just recently.
Yeah, Boba Fett was basically The Mandalorian. It was the Boba Fett show, and then it became The Mandalorian, and it was a disappointment.
Yeah. And then we also have Tales of the Jedi, which is an animated short coming out October 26th. And then it looks like there's a new original Lucasfilm that's coming out on Disney Plus November 30th called Willow. That looks interesting. I'll watch it.
I've never seen the original, so we might have to catch up on that.
Yeah, binge all of it. But anyway, audience members were also treated to a first look of Ahsoka, so that's exciting. And I heard through the grapevine that before we watch Ahsoka, we're going to have to watch, is it Rebels?
It's Clone Wars.
Clone Wars, yeah. So, just take that before you go into Osaka here. And then the Marvel panel started, and they had Rogers the Musical perform from the Hawkeye series, and that's on YouTube. You can see it. And I love that. I know not a lot of people, that's not their cup of tea, but as a theater nerd.
It was just because it was the post-credit scene for Hawkeye, and people expected, the next big reveal, but it was just fun. I enjoyed the post-credit scene with Rogers the Musical.
And then Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania was announced, and your favorite Paul Rudd was there.
I adore Paul Rudd, okay? Just leave him alone, all right?
I'm not hating.
He was there for you when you needed him, okay?
That's true. We had a bad experience driving the C2E2 one year, and Paul Rudd was there, and he like rubbed my shoulder. He thought like I was like, oh, maybe he thought he knew I had a bad day. Anyway, and then Wakanda Forever, they were there. And then this looks interesting. I don't know. I'll watch it. It's called Werewolf by Night. I have no idea what this is. It's by Marvel. It's like their first like, I don't know.
I would describe it as kind of like a mix between grindhouse horror and like a monster movie from Universal in that era. I was just talking to my buddy Rich about it, and we're both pretty excited about it. It comes out October 7th.
Okay, yeah, and then
I'm expecting maybe some cool cameos, maybe from Dane Whitman, maybe from Blade, maybe from Moon Knight.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe Ghost Rider. I mean, someone's going to show up on this thing and just floor us, I bet you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Fantastic Four director Matt Shakman. Am I saying that right, Mike? I don't know. But he announced that November 8th, 2024 is the film, but there wasn't any casting, and a lot of people were sad.
I'd like to see John Krasinski come back as Reed Richards. I thought he was all right. I mean, the guy respects the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and he's a likable character actor, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the Secret Invasion Disney Plus show that's going to be streaming 2023 dropped a trailer. Trailer looks awesome. So excited to see Nick Fury back, taking on Skrulls. We don't know if he's taking them on, though, or if they're on his side.
We don't even know if this is the Nick Fury that we know. This could be a Skrull pretending to be a Nick Fury that was pretending to be a Skrull.
Oh, man.
I mean, this could be like Tropic Thunder levels of meta going on here. This could be like Inception. This could be a dream within a dream within a dream. We just don't know what to expect. The cast looks stacked. Yep. Ben Mendelsohn, Emilia Clarke, Olivia Colman, right?
Yes.
All great actors. I am very excited for this. When Nick Fury shows up, it's generally just a great time. He was my favorite part of Captain Marvel.
Oh, yeah. He just brings such a great presence to all the films. Just Samuel Jackson in general. Like, when he just shows up, you're just like, Your Majesty. So, Don Cheadle, he is there. He's there for Secret Invasion, but he was also there for Armor Wars. That's coming to Disney Plus. There wasn't any news about that, really. They just I think it was just a general announcement. And then my favorite, season 2 of Loki, Tom Hiddleston, Sophia DiMartino, they were there, and they were just kind of talking about what to expect for season 2. Audience members got a sneak peek, which kills me. I'm like, oh, I want to see. And then oh my gosh, and this name, Ke Huy Quan, he's announced for season 2 of Loki, and he plays the dad that I was talking about in Everything Everywhere at Once. And I loved him in that film. So I'm so excited for him to be just joining the MCU, joining the God of Mischief. It's going to be fantastic.
Do you hope he plays like a Loki variant? Like, what do you want to see him play?
I don't know. That's a great question. I would love to see him maybe even be like a sidekick to Loki. I think he would be like a really good, I don't know, like a good opposite of Loki to like mellow out the mood. Because Loki is just kind of always serious and brooding, even though like he's not. Just someone who's like fun. Because we had Casey in season 1, like the first episode or 2, and he was funny. So something like that, maybe.
I could see him playing someone from the TVA, or possibly, how cool would it be? Okay, if we could harken back to this guy's legacy in Indiana Jones, and he played like a Loki variant treasure hunter, that would be so cool.
That'd be
cool.
An
Indiana Jones Loki. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm ready, Marvel. I'm ready.
Right.
Sign me up. I'll write it. I'm write it. Just call me.
And then these next 2 announcements were pretty exciting. The next one was Echo, which we knew is coming, and Wilson Fisk is going to be in that. So, oh my gosh, Mike, Vincent, what's his last name?
D'Onofrio.
Thank you, I'm blanking. He was there, and then he stayed on stage for the Daredevil announcement. And Charlie, the Man Cox, came out, and they just were talking about they just got casted and all that fun stuff. But they were just, it was so great to see them together. And Daredevil, for me, I didn't see it until last year we watched it, and I loved it. And I just really hope that because it's officially Disney owned that they don't water it down.
Yes, I Daredevil was great because it was kind of its own pocket universe within the MCU, and whether or not it is continuity is still to be clarified or debated. But yeah, I mean Daredevil he can have lighter moments, like Spider-Man has lighter moments, but he needs to bring the drama, he needs to bring the angst, and he needs to bring the Catholic guilt and misery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, The Defenders, like, those shows have a lot of sex and a lot of violence and, just not non-Disney stuff in those shows, right? But that's what made them so great. And I just hope that whole aspect, like, it doesn't just lose what they built over on Netflix.
Yeah, Daredevil really was an achievement in my eyes that
Yeah.
they had taken this character from this previous movie that was very poorly received, and they had brought it into the bigger Marvel universe, and they also made it stand out so well with, great performances, excellent writing, incredible stunts. Like, it's just my highest recommendation to watch Daredevil if you haven't.
Mm-hmm. And we also did cover Daredevil in an episode last season, so make sure you go back and check that out if you're interested. So moving on, the next thing that was announced was Captain America New World Order, which has Sam as Captain America, so that's exciting. And then the Thunderbolts.
Florence Pugh coming back as Elena Belova.
Sebastian Stan
coming
David
back
Harbour.
as Bucky Barnes. David Harbour coming back as Red Guardian. All these great characters.
It looks so good.
Yeah, there's some great characters there. I expect a lot of playful banter.
Mm-hmm.
And I really need to see opposing point of views. I need to see opposing objectives during missions. I need Elena Belova to have one mission, and I need U.S. Agent to have another mission, and I need them to just butt heads and fight all the time. I need it to happen.
Yeah. No, when I saw the announcement and then I saw the cast, I was like, oh, I'm so excited for the banter between the characters. And then I'm excited to see Elena and Bucky together.
Yeah.
Because she's going to annoy the crud out of him.
Yeah, maybe they might get together because Bucky Barnes did have a relationship with the OG Black Widow in the comics. So maybe something could happen. But he is like, I don't know, 100 years too old for her.
Yeah, but he's so alone, though. Like, I can't. I feel sorry. My heart hurts for Bucky. And then finally, the Marvels, and Brie Larson was there. The girl who plays Kamala Khan.
Iman Vellani?
Yeah, she was there. And, that's a movie, like, I'm looking forward to. I'm very excited to see Zawe Ashton, who, if you guys don't know, is engaged to Tom, and they're having their first baby. Holy crap.
Bummer, man.
Oh, man. No, but anyway. But anyway, she's playing the villain in the Marvels. So it's fun how... they're both villains, but I'm excited to see her in that. I respect her so much as an actress, and Brie Larson back as Carol Danvers. It'll be great. I'm excited. I know a lot of people are just like lay off her. Come on, guys.
She's a great voice for a woman in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and just in film in general. Yeah. Go Brie, go. Yeah. I'm behind you.
Same. So turning over to like non-Marvel, this is just like general Disney movies. Indiana Jones 5 with Harrison Ford and Phoebe Waller-Bridge got announced. And there was a cute little reunion between Harrison Ford and Key, or Kay, if I'm saying his name right. Again, I'm such a name butcher. And then the Santa Clauses streaming on Disney+. Tim Allen is back as the Santa Claus. That streams November 16th. Avatar: The Way of Water comes out December 16th, the much anticipated sequel to the first Avatar movie that just like smashed box office records. So we'll see if that will bring it again.
We're going to get Amanda to sit down and watch it if she hasn't seen it, folks.
Yeah. I've been to Pandora at Disney World and I love it. It's such a great, and I love Flight of Passage too. That ride is like next level, but like I've never seen the film, so I was a little confused.
Yeah, I had to clarify the film a little bit for her because she referred to them as like the blue critters. I was like, no, Amanda, those are like people.
They're people.
They're people.
I thought they were like monkeys or something. I don't know. Anyway. And then we got the Percy Jackson series coming out. And then Big Shot Season 2 comes out on October 12th already on Disney+. And I covered that series in the past as well. It was just a great show. It's just kind of one of those shows you just sit back and watch and you're entertained. And as someone who grew up with the Disney Channel, it's very much a Disney Channel type of show, but with a modern edge. So, overall, great lineup. I'm excited for what's coming. So this past weekend, the live action Pinocchio film came out on Disney Plus, and not to be confused, I just learned not too long ago there's actually another Pinocchio film coming out on Netflix directed by Guillermo del Toro. So excited for that because if you guys don't know, Pinocchio has kind of like a dark storyline to it. So for him to take on the story, I can only imagine what he's going to do with it, and it just looks so great. So I'm excited for that. It's remade from the past animated film that was Walt's, I think it's Walt's second film he made.
Yeah, right after Snow White.
Yeah. And it stars Tom Hanks, and for me, Tom Hanks, when he's in a movie, it's a win because I love him. Who doesn't, right? But a lot of things were changed in this film. So to start off, at first, I was a little weirded out over the CGI, especially with the CGI Figaro. For me, Tom Hanks as a real live flesh and blood human being really didn't fit into this whole CGI setting for me. I don't know. I was just kind of bugged out from it. And obviously, because of the times, the drugs and the alcohol, that was all gone from this film. And they added a lot of things into this movie and took out a lot of things from the past movie. And it's I don't know how I feel about it, but overall, this movie was just kind of meh. I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it.
I will tell you that, to me, Pinocchio felt like a hostage in his own movie. He didn't feel like a main character. He just kept on, falling into different situations, and he didn't really make a choice as a protagonist. And they made Pinocchio such a goody two shoes in this movie. Mm-hmm. And he was supposed to be a naughty puppet that learns to be a good real boy, and he just didn't have that journey. And you're right, the CGI was off at times. Pinocchio looked really good, but the CGI in general looked really bad some places.
Yeah.
And Zemeckis has kind of a love-hate relationship with CGI because he's obviously a pioneer of CGI technology, directing Back to the Future, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He directed those realistic CGI movies like Beowulf, and did he direct The Polar Express too? Yes?
Oh, I don't know.
I think he did. Yes. So he got really frustrated with live action filmmaking at one point because he was directing Castaway, and he had to wait for Tom Hanks to slender down to look like he was living on a desert island for that long, and he had to go shoot another movie. But he just got really frustrated, and he came out with all these different realistic CGI movies, and Pinocchio feels like a not so great medium between the two. And I was just, the movie was okay, and then to see the credits roll and to see that one of the best directors ever had directed this movie, it soured my taste in the film. Zemeckis is so good, and he's a pioneer. He has such a range of different stories he can tell. And he's so good with actors, and he's so good with visual comedy, and he's so good with drama. And this movie just was such a letdown in all those regards.
Yeah, you were pretty distraught when you saw the credits roll and saw who directed it.
Yeah.
So, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he plays the voice of Jiminy Cricket. I thought he was good. I thought Jiminy Cricket was well done, too, well designed. I really enjoyed when he hopped and they added that extra cricket chirp. That was really clever. I really did commend them for that. That's awesome. And then obviously I said Tom Hanks, he plays Geppetto, and he did pretty good in his role. I just felt like the writing for Geppetto, so they gave him kind of a reason for why he wants Pinocchio to be alive. However, he doesn't really outright wishes that for Pinocchio to be a real boy, right? they gave him like a backstory. They gave him that, like, he had a son that died and a wife that died, which wasn't the case in the older film. The older film, Geppetto just, was like, I want this puppet to be a real boy. And I was reading a review, and this person was just like, yeah, because that's not creepy or anything. But, so, I see how they, the story of him having a deceased son, it just kind of fills the void in his heart. So, I do think that was a good move on Disney's part for that. Also, the Blue Fairy didn't get that much screen time. Cynthia Erivo played the Blue Fairy, and she's going to be actually the Elphaba in the future Wicked movie. So she's got an amazing voice. Please check her out. I liked her rendition of When You Wish Upon a Star. I thought that was really well done as well. But again, the Blue Fairy didn't really have a lot of screen time, and she's pretty much a big deal in the story. So that was kind of weird for me. And then Benjamin Evan Ainsworth, he plays Pinocchio's voice. He did pretty good overall.
I haven't seen the original animated film in a long time, but he sounds like a voice double for the original Pinocchio. He did a really good job.
Yeah, and then like a couple little things here and there too. They actually showed Pinocchio going to school, but not being accepted into the school because he's a puppet. So that was kind of like the motive for Honest John to find Pinocchio, instead of like in the older animated film, Pinocchio just kind of not going to school. So I thought that was a decent touch as well, because it kind of gave Pinocchio, made Pinocchio take a step back and say like, oh, well, what am I supposed to do? And then Honest John just swoops on in and is like, hey, we have an offer for you. Do you want to be famous? And that whole thing. And then we also had a character introduced as well, and that was Sophia. And it was like it's a female puppet who like kind of looks after Pinocchio, and her, what are they called, puppet masters? Marionettes. The girl that does the marionette for this girl, Sophia, I'm sorry, I don't know puppetry, but she is disabled and has like a love for dance and a love for just what she does. And it was kind of nice to have Pinocchio like interact with this puppet, I guess. The whole escape thing was just kind of muddied for me, because in the original animated film, it's dark. It's, there's no hope for Pinocchio, it seems. But like in this one, I just thought the character was, it was kind of nice to have a female in a sea of all these like male characters, and to kind of have pity on Pinocchio and help him out. So, I don't know. And another thing, too, that I noticed was the sea monster. It wasn't a whale, and that whale is iconic. That whole part in the animated film where they get eaten by this huge whale, and they turned it into a sea monster. I'm like, since when are we in Jurassic Park? I didn't like that. I thought that was weird. And the whole ending was weird for me, because,
it's ambiguous.
Yeah, like,
I don't think it really was ambiguous, but go on.
Well, no, it ended so differently. Like, all of a sudden, Pinocchio is Dash from The Incredibles on the water? What? Like, did I miss something, Mike? Like,
he's obviously like a super powered wooden boy. Like,
I still don't have words for how that happened. Like, Disney, explain, please.
Like, he can swim really fast, and then he doesn't need to sustain himself with food, and then he's got a nose that can extend. Yeah. Whenever he tells a lie, he's got like really lame superpowers. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, just the whole thing with him just running, and then like Geppetto almost dying. And how did the goldfish survive all this?
The fish was my favorite character. The situations in which the fish would come back from unscathed, like untouched, was incredible to me. Like, probably my favorite part of the movie. Just going, look at the fish. They're fine. Cleo's okay. Like, cool fish.
That fish would have been like either fish food or lost at sea. Like, but yeah, in the end, because, in the original animated film, he turns into a real boy. This one, they leave it up to the imagination. They're like, yeah, it said he turns into a real boy, but did he? But then they showed, and I barely caught it. His leg turned to flesh for a little bit, and you were like, "Oh no," that was weird. All in all, though, like, I don't know about you, Mike, but I'm kind of getting sick of the live action movies from Disney.
Yeah, for me, there's just something that's missing from them that I can't put my finger on. Something that just doesn't sit right with all of them so far. I mean, I thought Aladdin was okay. I didn't think it was
liked
like
Aladdin.
great. I guess what might have helped me appreciate Aladdin more was the fact that we had seen it as a Broadway play first, and I had kind of come used to the idea that these characters could be people walking around on a stage or in a screen and not something drawn by hand. But yeah, these Disney live action movies, they just haven't. They're just missing something, and I can't put my finger on it. And I don't know if it's because they're either too different or they're not different enough. The magic is missing.
Yeah, and you and I, we grew up with the original 2D animated films. And those are classic. They're original. And I always felt like they were untouchable. There was nothing like them. And then for them to just kind of recreate those, like...
Oh, Bob Iger's got his hand all over them. They are
It's
not being...
Bob
They are being...
Paycheck.
Bob Paycheck. Bob Paycheck is putting his hands all over them.
Yeah.
I think, too, what is missing from some of these is the music.
Yes.
Aladdin had music. It had musical numbers. That's what made it great. Like, when I had seen The Jungle Book, I love music from The Jungle Book. It's got, like, a swanky jazz music, and it's got a mix of, like, drums and Congo drums, but then, like, you get to the movie, and the characters just kind of, like, talking the lyrics,
Yeah.
and it's very uncomfortable. They did the same thing with The Lion King, and they did it to... They did have a musical number for I Can't Wait to Be King, I think, and then when we got to Be Prepared... It was just Jafar kind of like talking, and I was like, "Oh my god, I want to leave. Let me go."
Walked out.
I completely zoned out. I couldn't believe I had paid for that.
Yeah, and on top of the music too, though, it's the fluidness of the characters that a lot like animation allows over. What's it called, Mike? In animation, exaggeration in characters, and like for instance, a character could fall or whatever and just get back up, or I don't know what I'm trying to get at, but like when a real person does something that from like an animated film, right? And if you try to recreate that, it doesn't look good at all. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm just kind of over these live action movies, to be honest. So.
I'm kind of just wondering if I'll ever want to see anything that was ever animated be made into live action again. And I know in a couple of weeks we're going to get a look at Avatar from Netflix, with Avatar: Last Airbender coming to live action, and I'm wondering, oh man, is it going to suffer the same fate as like the Disney movies, and is it just going to be like so awkward and so strange and otherworldly that it makes me uncomfortable to watch? So we'll see.
Yeah, especially with Avatar, because you have all the elements and the bending, like you just don't want it to look cheesy.
Yeah,
so.
you want it to look refined. You want it to look good. You want the characters to bend and for the element to react to how they're moving. Mm-hmm. You don't just want like 6 or 7 characters like pushing a boulder at like 6 miles per hour, and you don't want to mispronounce the characters' names. You don't want to sap them of any type of character-driven plot. You don't want to take out the dialogue and just replace it with exposition drivel. I mean, I could go on and on, but it just feels like I've seen a live-action Avatar before, but there's no such thing. The film doesn't exist, right, Amanda?
Nope. No, it doesn't, Ong.
Don't speak that name.
Right.
How dare you?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying about these live-action Disney movies, is they're just missing that one thing that just made us connect with these older animated films from back in the day. That one thing, that one touch, that one magical moment in the films. And yeah, like Sleeping Beauty, Maleficent, like, yeah, it's great. Like Angelina Jolie plays Maleficent great, but like she's classic from Sleeping Beauty, and like her powers turning into the dragon and such. Like, you can't recreate that in real life, no matter how much CGI you do.
I will give Maleficent props because it was more an original story, and not only was it an original story, it was from a different point of view. Mm-hmm. It was from the evil queen's point of view.
Yeah.
And that was refreshing. So, I don't know, maybe from now on they can make movies and they could center more on like the villain's point of view instead of just following the hero. Like,
Disney villains are a big deal. That like, fandom is, yeah.
Could you imagine like a Little Mermaid movie that centers around Ursula and how she loses? Lose it. Yeah, like people love Ursula. So.
Well, and that's interesting you say that because during D23, they were like the parks segment. They were talking about possible, like what they're kind of brewing in their heads to go behind Big Thunder Mountain at Magic Kingdom. And one of the concepts was having a villain area. Because villains are, like, their Halloween parties during October are all about villains, and people go crazy for these guys. So, that'd be cool. Everyone likes villains.
And they get the best musical numbers in their movies.
They really do.
Well, that about wraps up our episode today. Take a look at our new rebranding as we have a new logo, and I am an official co-host at this point. We have a lot of great content coming up. We have a few episodes on some more Marvel stuff. For example, Black Panther, She-Hulk. We're going to be talking about Avatar, The Way to Water soon. We're going to be talking about Pokemon, Scarlet and Violet. That comes out soon. We're both big Pokemon nerds.
I got a whole box of Pokemon, or actually, I got 2 booster boxes for my birthday.
Don't get Amanda started on Pokemon cards. So, yeah, we have a lot of great episodes, so please stay tuned and please subscribe. Thank you so much.
Also, make sure you check out our new website. I forgot to add. This new website has all the platforms that you can listen to us on, as well as our social media pages. Especially follow us on Twitter at Serial Saturday. I retweet a lot of news from the entertainment outlets, such as D23. I know, if you follow me, your Twitter feed went nuts during D23, so I apologize. No, I don't. But again, have a good week, and we'll talk to you next time.